Welcome to my first ever merge episode. Today I have a Sports Center podcast and fantasy faves. I'm going to start with Sports Center podcast, and I'm going to go ahead and let you know if you hear any background noise. Excuse me. It's because I'm currently outside recording this. There's a lot of movement where I normally record this in my house, so I'm recording it outside. I'm sorry for no uploads lately. I've been sick, but I'm better. The coughing is still kind of an issue. This doesn't have anything to do with sports, but Stan Lee passed away. He's a very popular, part of Marvel, the Avengers. Very sad. Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp is out for the season with a torn ACL. Buccaneers waive kicker Chandler Catanzaro after multiple misses versus the Redskins. Bills quarterback Josh Allen will take over the starting position when he is healthy. And the Bengals fire defensive coordinator after 51-14 loss versus the Saints. Giants beat the 49ers 27-23. In college football, Louisville fired Bobby Petrino. And here are the current rankings. Alabama 10-0, 10-0 Clemson, 10-0 Notre Dame, 9-1 Michigan, 9-1 Georgia, 6 Oklahoma, who is 9-1. The first two-loss team, 7 LSU, is 8-2, 8 Washington State, 9-1, 9 West Virginia, who's 8-1. 10 Ohio State with a 9-1 record. The NBA, just an NBA news. Celtics point guard Kyrie Irving suspects no team chemistry. Of course, they've been struggling lately. The Rockets insiders think Carmelo Anthony will be placed on waivers soon. He has played his final game for the Rockets. LeBron James has had to deal with his patience. He is struggling to keep that under control. Here are the current... If the playoffs started today, here are the teams that make the playoffs. The 12-1 Raptors. Excuse me, you all. Like I said, my cough's kind of been a problem, but I've been working on it. Number 1 in the East, 12-1 Raptors. 2 in the East is the 10-3 Bucks. 3 is the 8-6 76ers. 4 is the 7-6 Pacers. 5 is the 7-6 Hornets. 6th spot is the 7-6 Celtics. 7th spot is 6-6 Pistons at 500, and the 6 and 7 Nets are in 8th place. In the West, the 11-2 Warriors lead. Right behind them are the 10-3 Trailblazers. Behind them are the 9-4 Nuggets. Then the 7-4 Spurs, the 7-4 Grizzlies, 7-5 Thunder, 7-6 Clippers, and the 7-6 Lakers. Here's the fantasy faves part of this episode. Hold on. I just lost it. Excuse me. 3 quarterbacks to start. I say Patrick Mahomes is a starter this week. Pretty much every week he is. But specifically this week, because he's playing a vulnerable Rams secondary, and the Chiefs' offensive line is very strong. Cam Newton will be playing a struggling Lions defense. Ben Roethlisberger will be playing a below-average Jags defense, who has not lived up to the hype this season. Here are my 3 running backs to start. The Panthers' Christian McCaffrey, who's playing a struggling Lions defense. Excuse me. Todd Gurley's playing an average Chiefs defense with a weak defensive line. And I have 2 people in for the third team, or for the third person. Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, the 2 Saints running backs. Because they're playing a less than stellar Eagles defense who has surprised no one. My 3 wide receivers to start are Julio Jones. He's playing a dysfunctional Cowboys defense. Adam T. playing a Bears defense who is slightly above average. Now that doesn't sound like much, for Adam to go on, but of course he is he is top 5 in receiving yards. And he went on the 8-game stretch where he went for 100 yards. And honestly, the Bears' defense down deep isn't very strong. Michael Thomas is playing an underperforming Eagles defense. And here are my 3 defense special teams to start. The Ravens' defense special teams because they're playing a subpar Bengals offense. The Texans' defense special teams because they're playing an atrocious Redskins offense. And the Steelers' defense special teams because they're playing a lost Jags offense. Thank you for listening to Sports Center Podcast /Fantasy Faves. Also, number 10, Kentucky Wildcats will be playing North Dakota tonight, because it is Wednesday. Thank you all for listening. This wasn't the best episode, but it's my first upload in over a week. Like I said, twice already, thank you for listening. I will talk to you all next time. Is it only right that I do the Fantasy Faves thing also? I don't remember the Fantasy Faves thing. I believe this is the Fantasy... Oops, excuse me. No, that's not it. Let me find it. The Fantasy Faves outro. I don't remember what it was. Starting out... That wasn't it. Beginnings. Okay, and because this is also a Fantasy Faves episode, I'm going to go ahead and play the Fantasy Faves intro and outro. And I'm kind of curious to see how many people stayed for after the Sports Central Podcast outro, the first outro. If you did, I want you to comment SCFF, Sports Central Fantasy Faves, just SCFF. Alright, thank you all for listening. I will talk to you all next time.